Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring myself in charge of the mighty Hag Grief, leading Malus Darkblade up against Nowhere King 26 and his Norscan forces as Wulfric stares across the Dragon Isles plains and has a showdown with the demon-infused Dark Elf. Should be some good fun all round, so let's hop in here and have a quick little look at our build. So up in the skies, we do have a couple units of harpies, which are going to be used to escort the Raven Heralds here, regiment of renowned repeater crossbows who can fly in the sky. Generally considered a bit of a meme unit, but they can have okay application as well, I feel, in hunting down enemy casters and the like. So that's going to be their main job today. Also, I wanted to bring an air force to harass javelins and so forth. For our main battle line, we do have Dread Spears dotted all the way along, so we have 3 units of those bad boys in a nice triangle formation, and on either side of that we do have the Black Arc Corsairs with handbows. These guys have been chevroned up a little bit as well. So my main hope here is that the lightly armoured Norscans will take decent damage from crossbow fire, and these guys have pretty good melee stats as well, hopefully able to go toe-to-toe with Marauders a little bit better than the basic Bleak Swords and the like. We also have the regiment, just basic unit of Witch Elves here. For some reason I thought these were the sisters, but no, we just have the regular Witch Elves looking incredibly colourful in their pink colour scheme. Of course, these ladies can rampage enemies, which does lower their speed and melee defence, which is pretty deadly, and I'm certainly going to need them all round, because we haven't brought that much anti-large, so I really need to try and, rampage, skin wolves, mammoths, and the like, and allow the Dread Spears to try and get some damage over time on them. We are coming in with a Sorceress of Fire with Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and Fireball. And for the rest of our leadership corps, we do have a Master on horseback. He is one of our only anti-large tools here, coming in, of course, with that Guardian ability, Foe Seeker, and Deadly Onslaught. And he's going to be guarding Malus Darkblade, who we are taking on foot today, which is a little bit rare to see him without Spite. I think I was just trying to cut costs at the end. And he's going to be coming in with Deadly Onslaught, the Blood Price, and the Demon Curse, which are pretty useful abilities. Demon Curse, a big hex to debuff leadership and melee defense, and the Blood Price as well does cause damage to himself, but gives him really kind of souped up stats, which is all good. And of course we can transform into Tzarkan, and the reason I wanted to showcase this game today is that the Tzarkan form has indeed changed, and basically not to get into too much details about how it has been changed, but you should now take about 60% less damage from turning into the demon, because of course when you do turn to him you will take slow damage over time, so hopefully that make him a little bit more durable and useful. We also have the Snesh's Harvester's Doomfire Warlocks, regiment of renowned guys. Pretty good guys all round, coming with the bound spells of Soul Stealer and Word of Pain. And we also have some Cold One Knights as well on the high ground. As for my opponent's build, he's coming with a ton of Marauders dotted all the way along. Cheap, cheerful, and just happy to be here all round. And hidden in the trees, we have the more elite Marauder Berserkers, including the Brutes of the Hound, who are unbreakable, bringing the Viking spirit to the battlefield for sure. Over on this right-hand side, we have a lot of Ice Wolves in the form of an Ice Wolf Chariot, as well as a couple of units of the basic guys. Fantastic at pushing into the back line, and once these guys catch you, there is no escape coming in with that Frostbite. We do have a Famir Belfiend of Shadows, who is going to be the focus of attention, of course, from our flying units, coming in with a simple Pendulum spell. And apart from it, it looks like up in the skies we do have a Feral Manticore, as well as hidden down here, Wulfric the Wanderer on his chariot, of course, coming in with Seafang and Hunter of Champions. His chariot looks pretty cool. You never really get to see this in action. I wonder if he actually has attack animations where he swings off the side, or if he just kind of, butts into people. We also have double Marauder Horsemen with thrown axes over on the far flank here, and hidden in the trees in the distance, we do have 1 unit of Skinwolves. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. You see Skinwolves have been peppered down a little bit here by Black Arc Corsairs, and the Ice Wolf Chariots are going to get quite over-eager here. These guys are pretty light chariots now, so changes to mass may mean they struggle when they kind of get real stuck into a ton of infantry. We were charging with the Witch Elves in an attempt to rampage them and keep them stable, but they are going to be falling back. Good micro by our opponents there. Up in the skies, the Harpies have taken a little bit of damage, but in likewise so has the Famir Belfiend, as the Raven Heralds are unleashing volley after volley into him, doing some pretty good substantial damage there, down about a quarter of health already, as the front lines are going to engage, and it's a rather messy engagement all round, as I was midway through repositioning again, and Dread Spears holding back double Marauders here. Pretty scary stuff. So we are going to be coming in with a Burning Head. Unfortunately, not the best cast. It doesn't actually catch this first unit, but does pretty good damage to the second one all round. It may even clip some more over here. So a little misplay from us, but still getting some good damage, as we do isolate the Marauder Ice Wolf Chariots on this flank, coming with the Cold One Knights, Master, and the like, really hammering home at this Ice Wolf chariots. Skin Wolves are going to be popping in though with a lovely rear charge and a boat and a pendulum coming into our big old blob, which is scary stuff for sure. We are going to be counter-punching here with a Flaming Sword of Rune, which will allow us to delete these Skin Wolves pretty fast, where the pain being popped on them as well. The rest of our force is starting to crumble a little bit. It looks like we do have a big Soul Stealer coming down, catching all of these Marauders in our grasp, but the Berserkers are now coming over the hill and charging into glorious hand-to-hand combat, which are going to be very scary. Harpies did dart down here, but looks like they have been finished off themselves. Familiar Belfiend, however, has now been rampaged by the Witch Elves, who are going to have an absolute field day against most of this build in general. The Raven Heralds still have decent ammunition left, firing those shots in, doing some good stuff, and it looks like the Skin Wolves have now been dealt with and forced off the battlefield. Malus is getting his teeth wet still, only up to 2 kills. He's going to be dancing now with some Norseman Ice Wolves, trying to help finish those guys off, but he's going to get flung to the ground, and Elves do get flung to the ground a little bit more than quite a few factions, such as Dwarves and the like, even with the mass changes, simply because they have lighter mass, of course. Witch Elves are still now rocking pretty decent kills, up to 35, but Berserkers aren't a bad counter to them. They kind of just destroy each other all round. Wolfric the Wanderer is now getting pummeled down a little bit by a mixture of the Master and Malus, but of course Malus being on foot is a bit of a problem. Cold One Knights do come in to try and surround Wolfric, and he does have the Demon Curse popped on him as well. They should be taking some pretty big fire, even the Black Ark Corsairs getting involved with their hand bow action. In the distance, you can see Marauder Horsemen are constantly being harassed by our Harpies, just trying to keep them away from key targets, as another Burning Head does come in. This one a much better cast from ourselves, catching 2 units of Berserkers, roasting those bad boys pretty effectively, as Dread Spears do once again rally to the cause, charging in to try and surround the Feral Manticore. Looks like we are going to see another boat come down the line, catching both friend and foe alike. Doing decent work though to the Cold One Knights, and Malus Darkblade with 100 Champions pops on him is going to mean he's going to take quite a lot of damage, but he does cut the arms there off of Berserker to show he is not done yet, as the Master is just chasing Wolfric, hunting down the Hunter where possible in this epic duel, but Malus is getting incredibly low, and I'm trying to time his ability so he doesn't break at the same time, and as you can see, Tzarkan is unleashed. He is now unbreakable and comes in with a bunch of new abilities. And as you can see, he is popping them now as Reaper of Souls is active. He can absorb the HP of nearby units, which is really good for him, of course, because he does lose health over time as well. And all of a sudden, his kills are going to be starting to rocket sky high. Master still needs to get onto the Wolfric. He's managed to survive way too long. Only 770 health left, and you can see the Master is going to be trying to trail him where possible with the Harvesters as well. Looks like Wolfric does dawdle a tiny bit too long there, and his horses kind of nip at the Master, but the Master is used to dealing with such beasts. He's going to chase off Wolfric and finish him off for good. Up in the skies, Raven Heralds are desperately trying to chase down at the Marauder Horsemen, but are struggling a little bit in that avenue, and most of our forces are gone at this point. Word of Pain is dropped on the Brutes of the Hound to lower their melee attack and try to allow Malus Darkblade the time he needs to constantly fill up his new abilities to really clear out the chaff. As you see, we have Reaper of Souls, as well as a Blood Storm, which gives him lovely damage resistance and is an explosion. And you can see he's got some pretty cool attack animations all round. We don't get to see him terribly often, so I'll do some nice close-ups here. And guys, in the story, Tzarkan and Malus are some incredibly cool characters for sure. Master has come back as well to rally himself to the Darkblade where possible, and the Marauders are starting to get a little bit low on health for the most part. The elite Berserkers starting to flee, but there is a Feral Manticore in here as well, and we are heavily outnumbered at this point. In the trees, we do have a Sorcerer of Fire coming back to the fray. I don't think I have much Winds of Magic left, and a few dotted units, but apart from that, it is down to our hero core, and time is against us, as you can see. Malus' health is ticking down pretty fast now, especially with that Feral Manticore coming in. We did manage to fend it off, but another fat Reaper of Souls is going to be popping up, allowing Malus to heal a decent amount of health all round. You can see him going back up now, roughly to 1,500, and the forces of Norsca are starting to break from the field. Berserkers and Marauders fleeing, and a big fat fireball is arced down the line, getting some good value before that Sorcerer is finished off for good by the Horsemen. And these Horsemen have been a big pest in my side all game, and are now going to get some really nice cycle charging coming in. Malus Darkblade's cooldown on that Reaper of Souls is pretty big, so we're not going to get too many casts of it, and I have quite a long way for it to go, so I'm desperate for him to survive. If we can get one more Reaper of Souls in here, I'm pretty confident we can finish off most of these units and break them. In this instance, you see Harpies are being finished off for good as well by Javelin Fire. So Malus does seem to stand alone here. Actually, as I say that, the Master reveals himself going pretty strong. But because Malus, of course, does die over time, my opponent simply needs to pull back with a lot of these units. And as you can see, almost all his army is routing from the field at this point. But because the horsemen and stuff are alive in the distance, that means a lot of these troops should hopefully rally from my opponent, and Malus has no one left to fight, so he cannot even use his Reaper Souls if he wishes to, and down he goes, face in the mud, which isn't too good for me at all, as the balance power now swings heavily against me. The Master is alone, and he's a very good combatant all round, but he's not going to be able to duel so many Marauders and Ice Wolves and the like, so I think he is going to struggle a little bit. We will fast forward now, as it is just, one guy against the universe, and he's going to simply get surrounded and cycle charged to death, unfortunately, and down we go. So I can't remember if he broke or we conceded at the end there, but it was pretty much game over. So very well played to my opponent, a valiant defeat for sure, showing the power of Malus, up to 116 kills. Now, I think his damage value thing is a little bit bugged, so it probably doesn't take the damage value from his Tzarkan form, unfortunately, because you can't physically do 18,000 damage dealt and only get 290 damage value. It's not possible. So, I'm not quite sure how much damage value he got, but I think he did pretty good for himself all round. I did mean to take him on Spite, I think, and accidentally didn't, which would have certainly helped us chase down Wulfric a little bit early on, and also helped us in the late game tear through a little bit more units, give us that speed as well to catch the opponents, and I think it's almost always worth taking him on the mount, simply because he can then get into the engagements he needs to allow Reaper of Souls to kind of keep him nice and topped up. But regardless, well played to Nowhere King 26 as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this showdown. If you did, feel free to give the video a big old thumbs up and subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content before we do a little bit of analysis here. So overall, quite a few mistakes on my half, I think. I'm still getting used to Dark Elves, don't play them terribly often. We did try and bring a few meme units as well, but that is taking nothing away from Nowhere King as well, who did a good job. But overall, Raven Heralds, I think, actually did pretty good. So they still struggle to pay for themselves a little bit, as they are rather expensive, but they can be used to hunt down enemy casters with pretty good utility all round, especially up against someone like Norsca, who tend to struggle in the AA game a little bit. And if your opponent is going to bring a mage caster as well as a lord, I think they could be pretty potent and deadly in that front. Now, we did spend a lot of money, though, however, on them and our hero core, meaning that our ground forces did really struggle quite a lot. The Black Ark Corsairs, I paid quite a lot of money into them with the chevrons. I think would have been better used just spending money on cheaper bleak swords, having more of a front line to allow kind of buy more time for our heavy hitters to really get value. Codwind Knights didn't do too bad as well, just got bogged down a little bit, and the Sisters didn't really get their value back either. Yes, they can tear their way through Marauders, but Berserkers are quite a nice counter as well. The Master did a good job hunting down Wulfric, but of course can't carry like Malus can in the end game. And perhaps if we'd got that early burn and hedge right as well to really clear through the chaff, we maybe would have been in a better position in the late game. Awesome to see Wulfric on his chariot as well, coming in and getting some fantastic value and damage dealt as well. 16k damage dealt is very impressive stuff. You don't often get to see him off his mammoth as well, so pretty fun stuff. I do like the idea of kind of feeding in the Marauders to take the initial damage, and then feeding the Berserkers after in a secondary wave. Fortunately, Skinwolves kind of got absolutely nuked, as did the Ice Wolf chariots. I really want to see these guys used in action, so if you do have any cool replays featuring Marauder Ice Wolf chariots, feel free to send them my way. If you want to see your replays up on the channel, feel free to join my Discord. There is a link in the description down below, as well as links to how you can support the channel through Patreon and the like. Anyway guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.